Hour coming to you live just about every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. here at WURD Radio. Check us out in
Word.
Philadelphia. Word. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta have like a little something every time somebody says that WRD that just like
That's right.
pops up.
Word.
They should just record you and just like turn that into like a sound bite.
Ah.
Yeah, 900 AM, 96.1 FM here in the city of Philadelphia and vicinity, or as we say here, vicinity.
Vicinity. Yes, yes, yes.
That's a Philly word. I didn't know vicinity was pronounced vicinity until I moved to Philly.
It's Black Clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity. Yes.
Yeah, vicinity.
Vicinity. Yes.
Like y'all from Vidalia now? Vicinity. Now I'm just mad. I got a bunch of people mad at me now in Philly.
Sorry.
All
It's all
right,
good.
and yeah, and again, if you're not here in Philly, it's all good. You can still check out the show. You can tune in by way of wordradio.com.
hmm
You can check us out on the app in the App Store. Look for again WURD, and it'll pull up the app. You can then check us out on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, and there you can have all kinds of interaction with us as your host this morning, or the many, many, many listeners who just have a great time there on Facebook Live. By us, I'm referring to us. Sitting across from me is Bishop Dwayne David Royster.
And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
And the person who makes sure that you are able to hear this broadcast each and every morning is none other than Kawesa.
Kawesa.
Good morning.
What's up, Kawesa? How you doing today?
Doing okay. Can't complain.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was your ride in this morning?
Not bad. It really wasn't bad at all. It's a chill in the air, but not too cold. I actually kind of liked it. It was refreshing as opposed to
Oh,
being
wow.
cold. So,
I got you.
yeah, it was pleasant. Not too bad at all.
No traffic out there.
Yeah, none. Like it really wasn't that bad. I keep seeing all these trucks and now buses, so that's really kind of the big thing. Just, people need to be prepared to start, hitting regular traffic pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran into some of that yesterday. It was crazy. I was like, man, it's over now. We're back.
Yep.
We're back. So I was like, wow. Well, cool.
Yeah, and
Appreciate
it
that.
seems like the streets department decides to wait until the pandemic is over, by the way, to start filling potholes and fixing roads and bridges, and which just seems like really crazy to me. It's like, dude, you had like a year. Nobody was moving. I mean, you guys had the streets to yourselves, and it's like, let's wait till traffic starts coming back in. Now, go ahead.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's really bad. I mean, this street's all over the place, tore up, just jamming up traffic. And I'm like, y'all couldn't move a little faster than this? You had a year.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm
You had a
telling you.
year. Get it together.
Nope, that will not happen, Captain.
Mm-mm.
So, listen, folks, boy, this morning we're going to do something totally unusual. Kwesa, are you sitting down for this? We haven't even told this to Kwesa. Kwesa, you sitting down? Yep.
I'm sitting.
Okay. We are going to open the phone lines for the show. I was waiting for the sound effect in the studio where Kwesa fell out of her seat. Now, I want to give you some ground rules here. Let me give you the number, first of all, just in case you've forgotten. And I want to say, I was listening to Michael Cord's show on Sunday after church, and Michael gets the same complaints that we do. You don't let enough callers call in. And Michael was like, yeah, I know, but I mean, so I don't feel bad anymore. Because, if you all are giving Michael Cord grief, then we're in good company, Royster.
There you go.
And but no, in all seriousness, yeah, we want you to call in today. We're gonna put both phone numbers in the Facebook Live and YouTube live chat area, and we want to hear from you regarding the Derek Chauvin trial specifically.
Hmm.
So this is not an opportunity to call us and tell us that you're mad at us for not opening the phone lines. That'll get you run out of here quick. Guesa has a fast trigger finger.
There you go.
All right. What the other thing that will get you run out of here on a call is telling us about Osama bin Laden's relatives that you may have encountered in your life. That we don't want to hear about that today. All right.
Jeez.
You start with Osama bin Laden's relatives or UFOs, and you're gone. All right. Just tell you right now. But in all seriousness, we do want to hear from you about the Derek Chauvin trial because look, people have been asking us, right? You know, we're fielding media calls and newspaper writers and people who do their own radio shows and TV want to know from a lot of people, how are people feeling in this moment, and kind of hit us yesterday. Well, how are our listeners feeling in this moment? Do you think he will be convicted or not? Yes or no? So if that's all you have, you can just call and just give us that. Yes, he'll be convicted. No, of course he won't be convicted. If you want to add something to it about why, that's great too. But we really want to get a pulse of the listenership and also, I guess, almost like a wellness check. Would you say?
Yeah, that's helpful. I mean, people need to be able to speak their truth and say some things about that. So that's a great idea.
Man, what a 21st century expression. Speak your truth.
Yes, it absolutely it comes out of the movement.
Yeah, people who say that never want to hear. It's a one-sided thing. I'm here to speak my truth, but you can't speak your truth back to me.
So can I just say this? So I know we're waiting for folk to call in and talk about the Chauvin trial. So I reached out to our mutual friend Doran Shantz yesterday. And I said, Doran, how y'all making out? Doran is the director of Isaiah, which is the equivalent of Power in the state of Minnesota. And she's based in Minneapolis. Excuse me. And I was, just going back and forth with her about what's going on, how she's making out. She basically says it's a disaster here. The National Guard's already been called in. The governor and the mayor are like hiding from people, afraid of what the results will be. Downtown's boarded up. And it's a big thing. I'm going to try to see if we can get her on or one of her folk on this week to kind of talk about a little bit about what's going on there. But tied into all of this, I don't know if you saw this, that Kevin McCarthy, who is the House Minority Leader, is trying to censor Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, because Maxine Waters went to Brooklyn Center over the weekend and was speaking at a Black Lives Matter rally, and basically told the people they need to be more confrontational.
Well, So let me just real quick. Let me just throw the number out. I didn't do it. 215-634-8065 if you're in Philly. 215-634-8065. If you're not in Philly, it doesn't matter. You can still use that number. Everybody has free long distance. But if you're on a landline and you don't have free long distance, that number is 866-361-0900, 866-361-0900. Believe it or not, we actually want to hear from callers today. It's your show. Go right ahead, Bishop.
Yeah, so anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, the QAnon caucus of the House is like all over this, saying she's inciting violence, which, Auntie Maxine is doing this in the vein of a John Lewis, talking about getting in good trouble. She's not out there inciting violence, but they're all over it because, the racist caucus of the House of Representatives can't let anything a black woman says go. So, but nevertheless, there's like a whole lot that's going on, around the Chauvin trial, around what happened to Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center, around even, it goes to the point of even affecting our nation's capital right now. And then the paranoia of mayors around the country who likewise are calling up, getting their governors to send National Guards in, boarding up their downtowns in preparation for what they believe will be violent responses, which actually I think is tragic because, if the trial ends well, it might not be violent. It might be a celebration.
Mm.
But folk are just paranoid right now, and it's even here in Philadelphia, we've got 1,000 National Guard on standby, ready to come into the city at the request of the mayor to the governor, which I actually think is actually causing more harm than good.
You think the National Guard is doing harm?
I think the fact that they've been called up already is harmful. It's like you saying, you don't trust people.
I don't.
I
Shit.
just I just think it might have been a little overkill on that one. I mean,
Bruh,
especially
no,
after all the mistakes that
no,
the police department made last summer. It's just like
no.
it's
I am not going to tune out the fact that people went buck wild in June and in October in this city and overran business owners and neighborhoods and communities, folk people who could not spell Walter Wallace's name. The night Walter Wallace was killed, Walter Wallace died at about 4 p.m. I was at his house by 5:30 or 6 p.m.
Mhm.
with other clergy and other community leaders. By 6:30, someone showed me on their telephone a flyer not attributed to anyone calling for a rally in protest for Walter Wallace at Malcolm X Park that night at 7. They didn't even know what happened. They didn't have any facts or details.
Just the cops kill somebody.
And before you know it, we're out there marching with folk. And man, it was by the time the actual peaceful protest, and I know some folk hate that idea, but whatever. The protest itself ended, the righteous protest,
Hmm.
that's when folk loped up once again and re-traumatized 52nd Street corridor. And I'm watching it. And I'm like, look, my question about the National Guard is, quite honestly, is 1,000 troops enough?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we're
No,
we're
dude, I
definitely
hear
going to
you.
be on different sides of the
Oh,
coin on
let me
this
tell
one.
you.
We're
Oh,
definitely
no,
on different sides of the coin on that
I'm
one.
here for that. I'm here for it because listen, this is it's one thing when people start going into businesses. Now and I'm gonna tell you, there are a lot of folk who are just off the hook, and this has nothing at all to do with poverty. Some of it has nothing to do with protest. This is uniquely about opportunists, and it's like a fire. Once you start a little bit, it just takes off. And when they start coming in and taking your stuff, then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, somebody needs to do something. You can't. I'm saying you can't. It can't be tolerated. It just can't be.
Yeah, I think we're
And I
going
forget the messaging part. I'm just saying it is just what I witnessed. What you're hearing from me is trauma because
yeah.
I walked the streets in June and I walked the streets again at night in October, and it was just so devastating to just see the blatant disregard for just. I mean, man, I don't even know who these people were and what their
Yeah.
goal and mission was other than just to ransack. People were sending out social media. We're going to hit Walmart tonight at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. That was
Really?
problematic. That
Walmart
was
at
problematic.
9? Come on, man. Are you serious? And I went down to the Walmart. The cops had already gotten there, but man, you should have seen the flow of traffic getting off the freeway, getting redirected, but just full of people who were ready to hit the Walmart.
Wow.
What happens when they say, I'm going to hit your church? Give us all the stuff that belonged to the people. What? Man, no. 10,000.
We got the
Greg,
callers on
Greg
the line.
Brinkley. Greg is on from East Falls. Greg, what's your take on the Chauvin trial? Good morning, my brother.
Both of you guys. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I just want to say I'm not surprised at the hint by the judge suggesting that it could be a mistrial if Maxine Waters is outside protesting, if that's correct on what I've heard the statement was. Well, I'm not surprised at that because I've said and I've noticed the judge has been trying to, in my humble opinion, trying to help the defense in any way possible, given the fact that this is so overwhelming. I'm not optimistic. I'm really not optimistic that I want to be, but I'm not, that it's going to end. It's going to end not guilty, despite the excellent job, and I mean the excellent job the prosecutors did it in this case. I don't know what the heck Maxine Waters has to do with what happened to George Floyd or what's happening to Dante Wright or anything else. And I'm not, again, I'm not for protesting, Rev, but, like, that's going to happen. And people are frustrated. I'm not for those who just want to tear up. But, I mean, I'm not condemning nobody for that. I'm not. That's where I'm at with this. I'm sick of them shooting, our people, killing our people. And I just pray, I really do pray, that I don't be in a situation where I see, I'm out there and my son or my grandson, because that's the day you guys won't, I will cease to exist on this planet. I'm sick of them cops doing what they're doing. I am. That's where I'm at. I know it's not good, ready to talk like that, but that's what it is. Thank you.
That's a great call. Hey, Greg, thank you, man. That's what we asked for. We asked for your real opinion,
Right.
how you all are feeling in this moment. I think that's an excellent radio call, Greg. And I appreciate it because that's real. And you expressed the feeling that a lot of people have in this moment. And so listen, let's take a quick break. It's 6:20. We've got Tawanda on the line holding. If you want to get in today to express your opinions, you can. 215-634-8065, 866-361-0900. Now, Greg has set the template. He set the example. That's what we're looking for. So if you have your own feeling, doesn't matter what it is, you don't have to agree with us, but we just want to hear your thoughts related to the Derek Chauvin trial and this matter in general. This is the Power Hour. We'll be right back on the other side of the break.
COVID vaccines are here, and Black physicians and scientists helped to develop them. So I feel good about getting the vaccine. And with new forms of the virus now spreading, I know we need to keep up everything we're already doing. Masking up, keeping that 6-foot distance, and avoiding crowds. COVID's been doubly tough on us, so let's double down to take it down. We can do this. Learn more about getting the vaccine and slowing the spread at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, Her's new fire potato chips and cheese curls, they are spicy. Whew, they're hottest snacks yet. Hold on. Whew. But it's not just heat. There's some nice sweet and savory stuff going on too. Ooh, there's that heat again. It burns, but it burns so tasty. Ooh, that's hot. Find Her's Fire Snacks at your store today. Whew. Taste the flavor, feel the heat, break out the Her's.
As a community service, WURD Radio and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium wants to keep you informed about where to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. The Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium offers COVID-19 vaccines and COVID-19 testing at these locations. First come, first served. Saturday, April 24th and Sunday, April 25th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Dell Music Center, 2400 Strawberry Mansion Drive. Monday, April 19th from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. at SEPTA Suburban Station, 16th and JFK Boulevard. Monday, April 19th, Tuesday, April 20th, and Thursday, April 22nd from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. at the Leah Chorus Center, 1776 North Broad Street. Stay informed and stay well with WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. We are here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and of course, our opinions. And we have plenty of those. Although today, we're actually talking to you about your opinions. You can feel free to join in the conversation this morning by calling in to 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. If you are outside of the immediate area and are calling in from a landline, feel free to call in on 866-361-0900. 0900. Again, 866-361-0900. I just have to say, Arun took your perspective and said he's with Team MKT today around the National Guard, even though we are disagreeing on that. But I hear you all. I respect your opinions. I just don't think it was the wisest move to telegraph that and put that out there like that. But that's on me. And y'all have a right to your opinion. I have a right to mine. And I just disagree.
Well, what's the big critique before is that y'all wasn't ready. Y'all didn't know after June that there'd be protests in October. So if you don't do anything this time, then it happens again and it blows up. I think we put people in a position where they can't win no matter what they do, quite honestly. But I could care less about that part, to be truthful. Let the police have to worry about that on themselves. My issue is protecting our community from, and I agree, Raphael is right in the comments. He talks about there's a group of misguided, anarchists who have no concern. I mean, and listen,
I will agree with that. I will agree that that's a problem. They've had that similar problem in Chicago. I saw that the other day, that there was a young woman from Black Lives Matter that was out there complaining about the anarchists out there that had nothing to do with nothing that showed up. I will agree with that. That's problematic. That's very problematic.
I won't call his name because I never asked him, could I share this on air, but one of a very, very trusted activist and, person in our community was in West Philly last year. And he said he actually engaged with a group of young white guys who were carrying backpacks full of rocks. He said, what y'all got those rocks for? And he gets in this conversation about so they break the windows of businesses and open the door. They don't go in the stores. They break the windows and open the doors. And then the people from the community flood in. He's like, I'm telling you, I'm like, are you serious? He said, no, I'm telling you the conversation I had with these guys who had the rocks in their bags. Yeah. Not to mention, now it comes out today that we had the DEA at the request of Philly PD.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm just like
monitoring the marches inside the march.
Okay, but let me just say this, right? So this is the problem that I'm having with this. We're responding to police overreach with police overreach. And this is where I have a dilemma, right? So the Philadelphia Police Department invited the DEA to infiltrate marches and try to get close to the organizers and leaders and agitators, as they put it, so they could figure out who was who and what's what. We have the National Guard out there. So to me, if you really want to mitigate what's going to happen, the mayor needs to get out there and say, we have put together a $7 million package or a $10 million package on a police accountability in the city of Philadelphia with the new CPOC program. If you really want to be able to mitigate policing and the issues, then he's going to get out there and make that statement and be like, we're going to hold police accountable in the city of Philadelphia, and I want you to know that I take this so seriously that I've sent this as a part of my budget to city council, and that city council had better pass this if we want to have better city of Philadelphia. I don't see the mayor getting out there and saying that. I see the mayor saying, let's have healing circles. You can't heal until the people first lament and are able to actually get the pain off. I mean, tonight Power's doing a service at 6:30 p.m., service of lament, so folk will post that. You can watch it on our Facebook page. But here's the thing, right? If you are serious about wanting to end this and wanting to stop this, then you pass real policies that have real teeth that can do that. Other than that, this is nothing but lip service.
All right. Well, listen, let's do this. Tawanda is on, but we also have another caller as well. Tawanda, we're gonna ask you to just stay on with us. First, let's bring Tawanda on.
She's co-host.
Yeah. Hey, Tawanda. Good morning.
So good morning. How are you?
We're well. We want you to hang on with us. So we're going to get your take in a few moments. You got time to stay on with us?
Here. No problem.
Great. All right, great. So Brother Hurt in North Philly has an opinion on this. Brother Hurt, what are you thinking about the trial? Is he going to be guilty, not guilty? What do you see?
In the name of Jesus, he's going to be guilty. He better get right. Ain't nobody playing with these people. America owed the whole, America need to repent for all the troubles they done caused and all the sins they done done to us and the whole world. That's why America is so messed up. They don't do the right thing, man. They always hokey doke, making up stuff, blaming the stuff. That man need to be under the jail. Common sense. You need all that damn mess on TV. Common sense. Use your eyes. I'm going to tell you guys something. I listen to y'all faithfully every morning. It's the first time calling in. I love y'all. God bless you and your family. And God bless you to death. Amen. Peace.
All right. Hey, Brother Hurt, thank you, man. Excellent first call. Excellent. Tracy in New Jersey, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank y'all so much for hosting this 1 hour show. It's always a blessing. I just, my reality is that I've been praying diligently about this case, and I know the prosecution has put on a wonderful
Prosecution.
Yes, the prosecution did great. So I'm just remaining prayerful. I know that, we are up against a lot, but I know that God is the best of planners. He's going to see us through this. And I do believe that there's going to be a guilty on all 3 counts. That is my take on it. That's my reality because I know, what God is capable of. So I want us to remain prayerful, remain encouraged, remain diligent in what we have to do to see this through. So God bless you all. Again, thanks all for, again, a great show you always put on.
Thank you, Tracy. We sure appreciate that. And then after all of that, those great compliments, here's Joseph Simmons in the comment thread. Brother Asa Khalif, these 2 hosts, I think that's you and me.
Yes, he's talking about us.
These 2 hosts are weak.
Call in, Joseph. Call in. Come on. I'm waiting for you.
That's why young people don't listen to WURD Radio. Weak! He puts with exclamation mark. Joe, the phone line is open, bro.
I put it in the feed already. Wait a minute, he said something else earlier. Wait a minute. What else did he say? He said something earlier. Wait a minute. He said, for you 2 to be clergy, you would have no insight into black folk. Y'all sound crazy and weak. Joe, call in 215-634-8065. Please, don't be a Facebook activist. Call in. Call in 215-634-8065. We got no idea about black folk. I've been black probably longer than you've been alive, brother.
The reason young people don't listen to us is because we old, not because we weak. We're old. They're like, we're out of touch. We don't know who their stars are.
215-634-8065.
Tawanda, good morning.
Y'all have holy this morning. Praise the Lord.
So Tawanda, you all know, she's our featured fill-in guest host. She comes in when I'm not here on Fridays, out doing whatever I'm doing. So she helps hold it down. Tawanda, what are you seeing? I mean, seriously, do you think he's going to be found guilty? How are you feeling in this moment?
So thank you for asking. It's a whole different ball game out here in the middle of the state. Let me just say that. My neighbor, we share a front yard. It's a townhouse, so we, have a common front yard. And the first week of the trial, a Blue Lives Matter flag appeared in our front yard. I didn't put it there. And it's right at halfway, so it's intentional. And so that's kind of been, on me that the other side, right, the opposition has activated in this moment, and they're our neighbors. But then also yesterday, when the case went to the jury, I, was looking for the candle that I was going to light, and, I'm praying and, going on throughout the rest of my day. And the neighbors got pizza delivered, and these same neighbors. And it gave me lynching picnic vibes because they were preparing in a different way that I was preparing. So my heart is heavy, and I feel like I don't know which way it's going to go. I know I've been let down by the justice system in this country so many times that I can't get my hopes up. I can't that I have to stay sober and vigilant in this moment. There are a number of January 6th attendees and organizers that live in my neighborhood and adjacent. So I'm just really aware that that there are concerns for, it almost feels like when we win, we lose, and when we lose, we lose. And it's feeling like there's no real win at the end of the day. It was a relief that, I remember at the end of last week that, they said closing arguments would start Monday, and I was like, oh, good. Like, it was just a weight that was released because I would have a weekend where I didn't really have to contend with the safety of our home, of my family, of my mother down in Carlisle. I mean, this is a different thing out here for us. Not to say that you all don't face that in the Philadelphia area, but out here we're dealing with some real some evil that's present on every hand.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Prayerful at this moment, absolutely.
Wow. Well, I want to come back to that, Lancaster and kind of like what happens in the middle of the state, because I think in a lot of ways, Minnesota, even though it's a metropolitan area where this crime happened, Minneapolis, it's much more, I think the jury makeup is much more kind of like reflective of Lancaster than it is of Philly. And so I want to kind of explore that as well. But let's keep the phone lines open and keep hearing from folk. And Will, you're so funny, man. Like in the comment thread, talk about we open the lines and then let the co-host. Bro, I was about to literally come to you next. Will Mega, who's been holding.
It wasn't about me. It wasn't about me. It's the fact that she gets an hour every week anyway. Like, let the callers call. Host when it's time to host. So, few things here. One, I am a little concerned that the judge has gone public and said that Maxine Waters' comments could impact this case. I don't know if you guys saw that CNN report that just came out. Secondly, I do think some of our local politicians have been irresponsible and disingenuous in trying to tell people how to respond to their oppression. They don't have a damn right to tell folks how to respond to oppression. They definitely don't have a right to tell them just silently let people hear your voice, but don't come out and riot in a country that was based on riotous overthrow of oppression against the British. How dare they? Vincent Hughes I'm talking about, right? And then lastly, because I think the people who oppress have a right to respond to oppression however they personally see fit, right? And then lastly, as it relates to the mayor, Brother Royster, there's nothing he can say now that people should believe, given that he hasn't done things to make them believe him. Had he been a man of his word and ended stop and frisk that he ran on the first time and done other things to build confidence in folks, then he could be a legitimate voice during this time, and folks may consider his leadership. But since he has not been a man of his word, why the hell should people pay attention to anything this guy has to say?
Yeah, so I wasn't saying anything in supportive of the mayor in this moment. So I don't know as a matter of fact, I was critiquing him in terms of what he has done and how he's responding in this situation. So I'm not exactly sure what angle you're coming at from that.
What you said was that what he should be saying in this.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, I think the mayor, he has to speak.
And I'm saying, even if he came out and said those things right now, it's like that means nothing, dude. You said you were going to end stop and frisk, right? And so it's been 7, 8 years, almost 8 years, 5 or 6 years, and you didn't address the things you said you were going to do. He doesn't have a toe to stand on right now. No one could give a darn about not
Well,
a
actually,
reputable
his budget directly relates to this matter. Absolutely, and this is the problem with black folk, right? We got to get it wrapped in our head. There are policies and there are laws that are out there that have direct impact on our communities, and the people who control those laws and those policies, we have to be able to take moments like this and leverage them to get the resolutions that we need for our community. The fact of the matter is, the bottom line is that there is no accountability for the Philadelphia Police Department in what it's done with the various police shootings, police incidents that occur in the city of Philadelphia over and over again. There's a police accountability board that is underfunded and does not have the power that it needs. They work hard to do the best job that they can, but they do not have the resources and the laws and policies behind them so that they can actually hold police accountable. And what I'm saying in this moment, while we are watching what's happening with George Floyd and Dante Rice and Adam Toledo and so many others, with regard to this, we actually need something concrete and serious that's going to be able to hold police accountable and put them in their place. And in this moment, and when we're dealing with these trials, these killings over and over again, it's finally time for the mayor to step up and to say, I see this, I hear this, we're going to do this. I'm instructing council to pass this law, this policy, this resolution right now so that we can stand and make a very prominent statement to the citizens of Philadelphia about the change and transformation we're going to make in policing in the city of Philadelphia. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real concrete solutions, not empty rhetoric and words, real concrete solutions.
I'm with you there, Brother Worcester. What I'm saying, though, in this moment and in this time, that would stand in a place of too little, too late. That should have happened at the beginning, right? I'm saying.
Well, it should have, but it's better late than never, right? I mean, we need something in this moment.
I got you, but my point is, it is not equal to the feeling of the masses in this moment. There should be maybe someone else saying that, a more reputable voice saying that, maybe a city council saying that, but he's not the guy. He is not the guy to say that, to give confidence to people in this city. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I agree with the substance of what you're saying. Oh, and lastly,
hey, Will, we're already past the time. We got to hit the break. But listen, thank you for the call. And one day I'll have to find the old town hall. Power was the very first group. We actually had a town hall with the mayor a month after he was elected and Rich Ross that exploded because he got in there and said he never said he was going to end stop and frisk. He said that in a public meeting. He said, read the small print of my campaign literature. But I agree with you. He has lost credibility on the issue. We got to go to break, and we're going to keep the phone lines open as well. Tawanda's going to stay on with us. And listen, folks, this is the Power Hour. If you're listening on Facebook Live or YouTube, hit the share button, bring others in. We'll be right back on the other side. It's 6:42. We're in trouble.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Hello, this is Councilmember Isaiah Thomas. I'm calling with important information about COVID-19 vaccines. In the upcoming weeks, all Philadelphians over the age of 16 will be eligible for the vaccination. However, you must register with the city to get vaccinated. Register today at www.phila.gov and fill out the vaccine interest form or email covid@phila.gov. If you can't complete the online form, call 311 to get registered. Your information is confidential, so please get registered today. Thank you.
Spring forward with premium nutrition meals. Enjoy a variety of new exciting entrees along with rewards and referrals program that pays you to eat and tell. As always, everything is chef crafted, freshly prepared, and delivered to your door. Just visit premiumnutritionmeals.com where listeners get $10 off 6 meals or more. Enter code PREMIUMWORD at checkout.
Spring forward to throwback. All this month, when you start or renew your WURD membership, you'll get exclusive WURD throwback swag, vintage backpacks, books, and tees, while supplies last. Offer ends April 30th. Sow seeds into Black Talk Media and grow with us. Visit wordradio.com/join now to start or renew today. Join WURD Radio CEO Sarah Lomax-Reese on Wednesday, April 21st at 1 p.m. for a special virtual broadcast in celebration of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Month. Sarah will be leading a conversation with African American C-suite executives, exploring the challenges and opportunities of creating real diversity, equity, and inclusion in corporate America. Panelists include Delilah Wilson Scott, Chief Diversity Officer at Comcast and President of the Comcast Foundation, Michael Rashid, Commerce Director for the City of Philadelphia, and Ramona Risco Benson, Director of Corporate and Community Relations at PICO. Tune in Wednesday, April 21st at 1 p.m. for this important conversation. For more information, visit wordradio.com and click on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Month banner. Brought to you by Comcast, Bank of America, PICO, Thomas Jefferson University, and Jefferson Health. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Exergen. Accuracy matters. Bit of volume picking up Schuylkill Expressway westbound. You're jammed up Front Street to Penrose Avenue. That's because of construction. Then you're busy again further west, James King of Prussia out to 202 because of that emergency work. Eastbound side looks pretty good this morning. Southbound Boulevard, Route 1, that's getting busy from Broad down to Fox through construction. Southbound 95, Jam Cobbett down through Bridge through that work zone. Busy again. Betsy Ross through Girard. Looking at 55 northbound Deptford into 42. Getting heavy 295 northbound. Busy approaching 42. Right lane block there with emergency work. Receive a $5 rebate by trading up any non-contact thermometer towards an Exergen purchase at any retailer. Exergen temporal scanners are the only home forehead thermometer proven to be accurate by peer-reviewed published studies. Details at Exergen.com, where accuracy matters. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
A cool start this morning, but skies are clear, bright sunshine, and a quick warm-up. By lunchtime, we'll be close to 70 degrees, up to 74 this afternoon. Mainly clear this evening, but overnight tonight, clouds are back. Showers and thunderstorms on the way during the day on Wednesday. Strong storms are possible with the potential for damaging wind, a high of 68 Wednesday afternoon. Then windy and colder Thursday. In the morning, 35 will feel like it's in the 20s and just 53 with gusty winds Thursday afternoon topping 40 miles an hour. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour with Dwayne David Royster, Mark Kelly Tyler, and on the line is our normal guest host who sits in when one of us is not here, Tawanda Starworth, all the way from Carlisle, PA. Tawanda, how you making out?
Doing all right. Still just trying to process all this.
Yeah. I hear you on that. You know, Tawanda, I mean, you know, Philadelphians have a certain perspective of Pennsylvania in moments like this, right? I mean, actually, most Philadelphians don't really see the rest of Pennsylvania. They just see Philly. But they don't, it's like, that's all they know about Pennsylvania is Philly. You know, but for black folk that are outside of the city, right, Pennsylvania is very different. I mean, I should say Philadelphia and the surrounding counties, right, because the surrounding counties focus in on Philadelphia a lot, right? Their economy and everything else is deeply tied to Philadelphia. But when you start to get, you know, past Chester County, when you're going out Route 30, when you finally get into southern Lancaster County and Lancaster County deeper, when you're out in York and Dauphin or Center County across the state, even when you go up into the Lehigh Valley, right? It's a very different perspective when you get out, you know, I mean, 50 some odd counties in the state of Pennsylvania and only 5 of them really center on Philadelphia. Like, what are you feeling? What are people experiencing out there? How are they, where are the spaces that folk have to actually process this?
Well, the spaces to process it are slim to none. You know, one because of COVID, but primarily those spaces just really do not exist. So we look to power for those sorts of spaces. We look to organizations who are already doing this work. I think communities, you know, will have, you know, events from time to time, but it's not the faith-based perspective isn't as strong in this area when it comes to fighting racial justice or fighting for racial justice, and that I think, and also considering a trauma-informed perspective, that's lacking, I think, for folks out this way, and kind of left to our own devices to figure it out and kind of fend for ourselves. And I think this is the area where that sort of work is most needed because we're so purple and sometimes very magenta. And that's tough. I mean, we still have to live here and go to the store here and go to the grocery store here, and we're triggered, right? So we're operating with fight or flight has been activated because of what's going on in Minnesota, but we don't have the community of people of color. We don't have that support around us, so we're just kind of out here hoping for the best. It's not a good look. It's really not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the part, I think that's what we're seeing as well in places like Minnesota, right? Where you don't, look, I mean, people have always risen up in places like Philly, in New York, and in, LA, Oakland, Atlanta, Detroit. But when you see Brooklyn Center that you ain't never heard of before last week, most people in the country, let alone black people, when you see them on, in the face of police for days on edge, this is obviously more than about Dante Wright. This is also about all the other little things that have happened, the microaggressions and major aggressions that have happened with law enforcement in that city that has never been heard of. And people have an opportunity. Look, I agree with Will. I never tell an activist how to protest. Like, nobody can tell you in this community that I told them, don't do that as a protest, as your method. My comment earlier is about looters and opportunists who are not there to protest. Those are the people who are coming in who are marring the names of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and Dante Wright and Walter Wallace and Sandra Bland and Mike Brown and Brandon Tate Brown and on and on and on, because they have no vested interest in doing anything other than take it for themselves. That's the group, and we have to somehow find a way to separate those two. And, there has to be a space for us to demonstrate and to have our voice heard. And, speaking of which, let me just put in context what Maxine said, Maxine Waters. All she said is, if you don't get a verdict you want to the protesters, you got to stay in these streets and be more confrontational. She never once, at 82 years old, uttered the words, be violent. Now, this judge, Nikki O'Tim, said on YouTube, and I agree with Nikki O'Tim, that this judge has been repeatedly trying to set them up with a poison pill. And he's trying, listen, I think they're going to come back with a second-degree murder conviction, but he's going to give this guy the lightest sentence that he can, and he's going to say something in his closing that will set it up for an appeal, to make an appeal easier, because he doesn't like the way this is going down. But, bro, if Maxine Waters has something to say about this, then Donald Trump, his words are also a part of this, where he said protesters like Colin Kaepernick and those who are in the streets today, somebody should knock the hell out of them, those SOBs, ungrateful SOBs.
Well, even in our protesting, Dr. Tyler, even in our protesting, what's the long game? And I think that's what Auntie Maxine is referring to, that we can protest and we can, I mean, the real need is we need to process our trauma. We need to lament. We need to gather. And then we need to think the long game. What's the policy? Who's making the decisions? Who's passing the laws? Who's running for office, right? We have to think long term about our civil disobedience, right? And as we learned yesterday, if you listened closely during the prosecution's closing, the case is really about George Floyd resisting, and we've learned that even our breathing is resisting. So we just have to keep resisting.
Wow. Hey, Maurice, we're at the end of the show. Maurice is calling. Give us your take. Yes or no? Is he going to be found guilty? Yes or no? What's up, Maurice?
I got yes or no. First thing, instead of protesting in our neighborhoods, we in the place of democracy. We should be down at the Constitution Center, the Liberty Bell, where they definitely don't want us to be at. That's the total disruption. No violence, nothing. Just be in the way. That will get full coverage all over the nation. We're supposed to be the city of liberty. Let's use what we got and show the world where we're supposed to. They don't care if we tear up our neighborhood, but they damn sure don't want us in Center City and at the Liberty Bell. That's where we need to be at, protesting. Whether either way it go, even if we get a favorable decision, we still should be in those places, let them know, look, the buck stops here. We don't want to see this again. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Maurice.
I'm agreeing with Maurice. I'm like
this bizarro world day.
Maurice, you are the man today. I'm totally agreeing with you on that. And I've actually said as much. I'm like, forget going to City Hall. It's not big enough. We need to go down to the Independence Hall. We need to go to the Constitution Center. We need to be outside the Liberty Bell protesting, because this actually goes back to constitutional rights. So I totally am in agreement with you, Maurice. Thank you for that. I believe that we can do that. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for participating in the Power Hour today, the call-in show. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks to everybody, even those that we didn't agree with, on Facebook and YouTube, for engaging with us in this conversation. Black folk are not monolithic. We all come from different perspectives and different ways of being, and we need all of it to make our community go and grow. So appreciate you for being out there today. Thank you, Kwesa, for holding down the boards. Thank you, Dr. Tyler, for doing what you do. Thank you to Wanda for calling in, our special guest host.
Hey, real quick, if you listen to a show with hosts who are weak and you keep calling them weak boys, what does that make you? I'm just a question. I'm sorry, never mind. It's just a question. Just a question.
Stay tuned now for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Listen, folks, go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.